Hello and welcome to the Small School Districts Association Virtual College Fair. We're excited you're here to learn about some great schools today. I have a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. You can direct your questions to a specific school or schools by including their name, or you can leave a question for all of our representatives to answer. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. That's why that Q&A button is really important. This is just one of many different sessions that are happening. We hope you've signed up for more. If not, you still can. And this presentation is also being recorded along with all the other presentations. They will be available within about a week at the same website where you can sign up for additional sessions and where you registered for today already, strivescan.com/SSDA. Well, I'm really excited. You're going to get a taste of and hopefully pique your curiosity about 6 amazing schools. And we hope that it's going to be fun and inspiring you to learn more even after today. So I'm really excited to welcome our first school to start us off. We're going to be hearing from the George Washington University.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Frangi, and I'm the Regional Director of Admission for the George Washington University. What that means is I'm an admissions counselor that works with students in the West. I actually live in the other Washington, in Washington State, so I work with students from the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about GW. We are a mid-sized private research university located right in the heart of our nation's capital. We have just over 10,000 undergraduate students. Students at GW are coming from all 50 states. We have students coming from all over the world to learn in Washington, D.C. We have a huge alumni network. We're delighted that this year we are actually celebrating our bicentennial. So GW has been around for over 200 years and are celebrating with alums all across the world. Even though we have over 10,000 undergraduate students, pretty typically your average class size is going to be 29. And over half of our classes have fewer than 20 students. So you're not going to be in a situation where you're learning along with 180 or 400 other students in a large lecture hall. Most of our classes are going to be using discussion, debate, conversation. We want our students to really learn from our amazing faculty, but also hear from each other's perspectives as well. GW is unique in that we are located in downtown Washington, D.C. So we are in a major metropolitan center. Our main campus is in the Foggy Bottom neighborhood of Washington, D.C. And we're about a 5-by-6 block square space of that downtown core. If you're somebody who loves the idea of going to school in a city, the Foggy Bottom campus might be a really great fit for you. We have a second campus, however, that's just 3 miles away from Foggy Bottom in a more residential neighborhood of Washington, D.C. If you're at all familiar with D.C., it's in the Berkeley neighborhood, and lots of older homes, lots of big trees, and the campus itself, our Mount Vernon campus, is about 45 acres. 1/3 of our first year students, so about 700 students or so, reside on the Mount Vernon campus. So if you're somebody who loves the idea of the city by day, but wants like maybe a little bit of a quieter residential experience for your first year, the Mount Vernon campus might be a great fit for you. Mount Vernon campus is also where students who are part of our University Honors Program, our Politics and Values Program, any of our women's leadership programs reside. And here you can see a picturesque photo of the Mount Vernon campus in the winter. I think it's really important to know that that is a comprehensive campus experience up there with a library, cafeteria, and a number of different residence halls. And like I said, about 700 first-year students living up there. We do require that all of our students live on campus for their first 3 years. So you have a guarantee, because we require it, of having on-campus housing through your junior year. GW is a little bit unique in our dining plan. We do not have a main cafeteria on our Foggy Bottom campus. Our students' meal plan card is accepted at over 100 different dining locations. So if you're somebody who is vegan, vegetarian, if you are following a paleo diet or wanting to support local businesses as much as possible, you can definitely do that with the GW dining plan. If you're somebody who wants to eat mac and cheese from the Whole Foods hot bar every day, you can also do that. Starbucks, Pete's Coffee, a number of different national chains are also part of that dining experience for our students. We have over 175 majors and minors at GW, and you don't have to know what you want to major in when you apply. We do ask, however, that students indicate which of our 7 schools or colleges they would like to be considered for at the time of admission. But know that just because you picked the Elliott School of International Affairs and were admitted into it, you don't have to be married to that program for 4 years. So if you change your mind, it's totally fine. There are absolutely pathways for you to switch your major or your school. We're super lucky being located in our nation's capital. Internships are a large part of many of our students' experience. About 70% of our undergrads are completing at least one internship before they graduate from GW. You'll also see that we want our students, of course, to find success after graduation. In 2020, 92% of our students found a graduate program or work or volunteer opportunity after graduation, and that's during COVID. So we're very, very proud of that. To talk really quickly about our application process, GW is a common application school. So that means the application that you use to apply to GW is one that's accepted by over 900 universities in this country. GW has also proudly been test optional since 2015. We do a holistic review for admission and for scholarshiping, and you are not required to submit the SAT or ACT to be considered for admission or for merit scholarship. We do our best to be an affordable option for our admits, and will require the FAFSA and the CSS profile in order to be considered for need-based aid. If you've got questions about GW, here's my contact information. You're welcome to screenshot or take a photo of this. If you've got questions, I'm available in the Q&A, and I will pass it back to Jennifer. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you so much, Andrea, for sharing more about the George Washington University. Our next school today is going to be Johns Hopkins University.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Igo. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions at Johns Hopkins University. I'm also JHU class of 2015, so I am an alumnus of the institution, and I'm happy to share a little bit more about my role, both as an admissions officer and what we're looking for as a part of this experience, but also hopefully from my own personal experiences here on campus. I am a representative of the Homewood campus. The Johns Hopkins University as an enterprise is actually a rather global one. We'll talk about this in a little bit. However, the undergraduate majors all exist and reside and live a residential experience here on the Homewood campus. And so if you were watching this presentation and you're interested in the School of Arts and Sciences and Engineering, that's the campus that you will be expected to attend and join. We're located in Baltimore, Maryland, so right up the street from George Washington University. And we were established as the first research university in the United States in 1876. The cultivation of new knowledge in order to improve the world around us is our institutional mission, and it really does bleed into all elements of the institution. It's not just an academic pedagogy, it's how our faculty, our staff, our alumni, our family members, our whole network engages with this idea of knowledge and how we can use it to improve the lives and experiences of ourselves and each other. And so we really hope that students recognize this as an opportunity to invest in innovation, to ask big questions, and to really take advantage of some of the best and brightest resources for research in the world. We do have many different divisions, as I've said. So our School of Public Health, Nursing, Business School, School of Medicine, the Peabody Institute, which is actually the oldest music conservatory in the United States. Our School of Advanced International Studies, which has a campus in Washington, D.C., China, as well as Italy. Our School of Education, and of course, our Applied Physics Laboratory. So the vast majority of these campuses and divisions are based in Baltimore or the greater Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. However, as I said, we do have those global presences in Italy and China. When we were founded, we wanted to make sure that our students were able to explore the questions they wanted asked, right? And so I think one of the core tenets of the Hopkins experience is that we do not have a core curriculum, and we technically don't have a common core set or any sort of general education requirements for students to pursue. We really want you to take a multidisciplinary approach to your education, as we feel that that's a core element to the liberal arts experience and one that is core to the Hopkins experience on the whole. However, we want you to set the boundaries for what that means for yourself. If you don't want to take math, you never have to take math again. However, we also want you to recognize that even if you are a humanist, there might be this moment where having statistics or math might intersect with your knowledge and experiences in a way that will transform the work that you're doing. Over 60% of our students double major. That's not counting students who major and minor or do any sorts of random combination of programs. And again, it's this freedom and flexibility that really is the core to the Hopkins experience. We want you to study exactly what you want to pursue, because that's going to excite you. That's what's going to produce those world-class questions for you to get involved in our world-class research experiences, which really do define the Hopkins experience for undergraduate students. 98% of our students get involved in pre-professional experiences, and the vast majority of our students who do research have opportunities to publish their work or the work of their team during their time as undergraduate students in major leading research journals in their industry. And so research is truly any experience that leads to the production of new knowledge. It does not have to be just wearing a white lab coat and pipetting things ad infinitum into test tubes. It's really about asking those big questions and figuring out what spaces on campus or in the community will help best serve you to answer those questions. Of course, being centered in the city of Baltimore and one of the oldest institutions in the city of Baltimore in the state of Maryland, we have a lot of really strong relationships with employers, people who are looking for interns throughout the undergraduate and post-undergraduate experience. And so internships are, of course, a core part of the hands-on learning opportunities that Hopkins provides. What really grounds us, though, is those large school opportunities. We have more money for research than any other school in the United States. We, I believe, have about $1.2 billion more for research than the school ranked number 2, so almost double. And so this truly does trickle down to the undergraduate students. Our undergraduate research grants are the largest in the nation. And so if you have questions about how to pursue an idea, you can get some of the largest dollar amounts available for undergraduate students to pursue those ideas. As an institution for students, though, we are more of a medium size. We're a school of about 5,300 students on the Homewood campus. And so it's definitely an ideal size for those who still want to establish that community, but are always being able to expand your network and meet new people over the course of your 4 years. We require housing for your first 2 years on campus. However, after that, the vast majority of students do move off campus immediately into the neighborhood next to our campus called Charles Village. And so it is still very much a collective community feel on and off the campus. Similarly to the academic freedom that we experience, we have a lot of initiative and self-drivenness to our student groups. All of our clubs and organizations are entirely student-led. There's no supervision or faculty experiences that are required of students to pursue their experiences. Some fun examples and pictures of the city of Baltimore. It truly is a wonderful city. The largest population in the city is college students. So it is a very young and academically driven city. Something I definitely don't want to forget is that we meet 100% of demonstrated financial need for all students. This includes undocumented and DACA students. We do not offer loans as a part of our financial aid package for any students. And so we do want to recruit and enroll the best and brightest students we possibly can. Here's some information about our decision deadline, should you like it.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer.
Yeah, sorry, we've gotten to the end of the 6 minutes. It just flies, and there's so much to share. Remember, attendees and anyone watching later, this is just to pique your curiosity, and you can get tons more information by following up the schools after today too. All right, our next school is going to be Boston University.
Great, thank you so much, Jennifer. So my name is Matthew Gallery. I'm a Senior Assistant Director with Boston University on the Undergraduate Board of Admissions. First thing I want to put into the chat are just a couple of quick handouts. Obviously, we wish we could be all welcoming you in person today. So a couple of quick pieces of information to kind of reference as we talk about BU further. So Boston University, of course, located in the city of Boston. In the city of Boston and within a 10-mile radius, there are actually over 60 colleges and universities. So making sure that our students have the ability to have that sense of college community and campus. We're located just outside of the downtown part of the city. So everything in this space here is downtown Boston, and then everything in this space here is our campus. And we feel it's important for our students to be able to have that sense of college, campus, and community once again, because we're actually the 4th largest private research and teaching institution in the country with a little over 16,000 undergraduate students. And these students are truly coming from all over. Of course, from all across the US, but all around the globe. A quarter of our student body come from an international background from over 120 countries around the world. So coming to a school like BU, you're going to have what we call a diversity of thought. So being able to engage with students across different backgrounds, credences, ethnicities, anything that you might be interested in working with and to talk to, you have the ability to do so. And of course, one of the big draws to a school like BU are the academic offerings. At BU, we offer over 300 programs of study across 10 undergraduate schools and colleges, and a lot of flexibility that comes with that. As students who enroll at BU aren't contained to that program that they apply to. In fact, most of our students come in undeclared, and through programs like our intra-university transfer program, you have the ability to switch your major or add on a second form of study. Over half of our students add on a second degree program, whether it be a second degree, second major, or adding on minors, or even advanced programs such as 4+1 master programs. So having that ability to be flexible across your curriculum. And one of the ways that we encourage that is through our BU Hub. The BU Hub is a unique take on a liberal arts education where students aren't just checking off boxes. You're not just taking 2 classes in English, 2 classes in sciences, 2 classes in math for the sake of taking these classes. You're learning important life skills in spaces that are going to be most relevant and interesting to you. For example, one of our newest classes, which is born out of our Center for Anti-Racism Research, is a first-year class on what does it mean to be an anti-racist, making sure that we have information that is going to be relevant to what you are interested in studying, but still learning those important skills that we want all of our undergraduates to come away with. And of course, your main resource for these academics are going to be your professors. At BU, we have a 27 average class size and a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So ensuring that you have the ability to connect with your professors. You're not just going to be teacher and student, they're going to be your mentors, your partners. Students, the professors don't go from degree to degree to degree to start teaching at BU. They've worked in these experiences in these fields that you're looking to join into. So if you're taking journalism classes, you're likely going to take a class with someone who's worked for the Boston Globe or the New York Times. If you're taking political science or international relations classes, we have someone who's a former CIA agent, just making sure you have the real world experience to be able to apply it to your studies. And of course, taking those experiences and putting them into extracurricular involvement as well. Pictured here is our Howard Thurman Center for Common Ground. To take a quick step back to introduce Howard Thurman, he's best known for three major things. First, he was the first Black dean at a predominantly white institution when he came to BU in the 1950s. He served as mentor to our most famous alumni, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and his philosophy of common ground, that regardless of all those things that I mentioned before, that students, the faculty, the general community can come together to learn from each other, to be able to work together. And one of the ways that we advance that is through experiential learning, through research, through internships, through study abroad. BU is considered a tier 1 research institution, which is just a fancy term for there's a lot of money and resources going into that research enterprise. So enabling students through programs like our undergraduate research opportunities program, which sets aside over $1 million annually, again, directly for undergraduate-led funding. So you have the ability to be involved in that capacity, but also getting out into that global experience. Just shy of half of our students will study abroad at least once during their undergraduate experience. So making sure you have that global education on campus, but you're able to do so by getting out to the world as well. And 90% of our students will participate in at least one internship prior to graduating. So making sure you have access to real world professional experiences, whether that be related directly to your academics and to a job that you're looking to get, or of course you can intern with the Boston Aquarium. There's a lot of different ways to be involved both on campus and through our 450 plus organizations and clubs. But the train runs directly through our campus as well. So you can take advantage of all that the city of Boston has to offer. I'd be remiss to talk about BU without also diving into our application process. So at BU, we utilize a holistic and contextual review, which means We're going to ask for a lot of different things. We're going to look at all those different things, but we're going to understand context, that different schools offer different academic offerings. So depending on where you're coming from, you have the ability to be read by your regional representative who's going to become familiar with your school. So understanding once again that there are differences in your curriculum, there are differences in what you've been involved with, that COVID has impacted us all differently in terms of how you've been involved outside of the classroom, that you're able to, the academics that you've had to be able to select from, including in a remote learning environment. And that it may have impacted your grades as well. All of that context matters. Financial assistance as well. We do have both merit and need-based financial aid. So merit-based, we have 2 different scholarships. One's a full tuition and one is our presidential, which is $25,000, which you're automatically considered for. And then in terms of need-based aid, we meet 100% of demonstrated need as well through the FAFSA and CSS profile. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message here or to email me anytime. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew, for sharing Boston University today. All right, we've heard from 3 great schools and we have 3 more to go. So just a reminder to our attendees about that Q&A button. You can submit any questions that you might have about academics or out of class experiences, or just a reminder about something in the admissions process for the schools that have presented or the ones to come. You can direct it to a specific school or leave a question for all of our representatives to answer about their institution. So definitely use that to help personalize this experience for you today. All right, our next school is going to be Goldey-Beacom College. Hey, Brittany, your screen looks great.
Sorry.
Just
Okay.
need you to, there you go.
Sorry about
All
that. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. My name is Brittany Cobbs. I am the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Goldey-Beacom College. Goldey-Beacom is a small private school located in Wilmington, Delaware. This slide kind of gives you an idea of where we are located. So we're located in Wilmington, Delaware, which is a great central location to a bunch of bigger cities, Philly, Baltimore, DC, New York City. We have over more than 1,800 students enrolled from over 22 states and over 60 nations. So we have students from all over. This is some fun facts about the school. Like I said, we are a small school, so our student to faculty ratio is about 20-1. A lot of your classes will be a lot smaller than that. We have 25 different undergrad degree options. Over half of our freshman students live on campus. You're not required to live on campus any of the years, but you can each year if you would like. All students, including freshmen, can bring a car to campus and there is no cost for you, so it is free. A great fact about Goldey-Beacom is we have 3-day weekends every weekend. So students don't have any classes on Fridays. The college is still open. We're still all here. The library is open, computer labs are open and everything like that, but there are no classes held. This is great for students who have jobs or internships or athletics. Speaking of athletics, we do have 13 Division II athletic teams. This slide goes over some of our degree options. We used to be an all business college, so we do have a strong background in business. So you'll notice we do have a bunch of different concentrations within our business administration program. We offer English, psychology, human services, criminal justice, economics, finance. Human services and communication and media are our brand new majors that we started this year. Our communication and media degree, we actually partnered with another college locally, DCAD, Delaware College of Art and Design. So students actually take classes on their campus for our degree. So they get some of the art type classes that you would need for the communication and media degree. This slide goes over the different athletic programs that we offer. Like I mentioned, we have 13 different teams. I'm not going to go through them all just because of time, but they're all listed here. Because we're Division II, we can offer athletic scholarships. And all of the coaches do their own recruiting and they would love to hear from you. Just reach out. You can fill out an athletic prospect form on our website. This has information about our application. We always have a free application. It's online. It's not on the Common App. It's a lot easier than the Common App. We have rolling admission, so you can apply at any time. Go to the website, fill that out. Then all we require is your high school transcripts and your SAT or ACT scores. This year, we're not requiring SAT or ACT scores. You'll just let us know that you were unable to take them, and I think that will continue into the future. We're also excited to announce that for fall 2021, we have cut our tuition in half. So for 30 credit hours, which is a normal course load for the year, tuition will start out at $12,750. Last year, it was $25,500. So this is a big deal, and it's for all students since we are a private school, so in or out of state, domestic or international. This shows you a little bit about our tuition, our merit scholarships. So when students apply, we ask for the transcripts and the SAT or ACT scores, and this is what we're looking at for a merit scholarship. So it's based on your GPA and those scores, and they are from 3,000 to 6,000. If you weren't able to take the SATs or the ACTs, we do have another scholarship grid that we use just based on GPA. This also includes the housing and our meal plan costs. This is a map of our campus. The Fulmer Center is where all of our classes are held. Jones Center is like the library, athletics, and these are the residence halls over here. We have a brand new dining hall that we just opened this year. So we're really excited about that. Brick oven pizza, Starbucks coffee. As a new student, you get the option between Leach Hall, which is an apartment style dorm, or Fronta, which is our brand new residence hall that just opened this year. Student affairs, this is kind of talks about all the different clubs and organizations that we offer, which change each year, just depending on what students are interested in. One of my favorite facts about Goldey-Beacom, over 90% of our students find placement within 3 months of graduation. Our career services department will work with you one-on-one to help you from the day you start till after graduation. We are having in-person information sessions, so if you're able to come to those. And then this is the last slide. If you're interested and you put your camera up to this and scan it, it'll bring you to our inquiry form so you can get more information in the mail.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brittany, for presenting on Goldey-Beacom. Our next school today is going to be Lewis and Clark State College.
Hi, everyone. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So my name is Rosita Navarrete. I am one of the admissions reps with Lewis Clark State College, and I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about LC State. Oops, let me go ahead and, there it is. Okay, couple basics about our campus. Lewis Clark State College is one of Idaho's public four-year institutions. We are an undergraduate institution, so students can get all the way up to their bachelor's degree here on our campus. We do also offer two-year associate's degree and several different certificate programs for students interested in something a little bit quicker. We are located in northern Idaho, up in Lewiston, Idaho. And our campus itself is a pretty small campus. We have about 3,700 students total, allowing us to have a 13-to-1 student to teacher ratio. Some different programs that we offer here at LC State. We offer both academic and career technical programs. So for students looking into something a little bit more traditional, we have everything from business, biology, nursing to education. And then for students who want to be a little bit more hands-on, we offer career tech programs like auto mechanics, welding, diesel technology, and more. I've listed our program finder here. So if any students want to kind of browse through the different list of programs that we offer, you can always do that at any time. Applying to Lewis Clark State College, it is completely free. It's a quick application. It takes only about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. And students will want to go to beawarrior.lcsc.edu in order to find the online application. When applying, students will want to make sure that they send us their official transcripts. For high school students coming directly from high school to college, we'll need your high school transcripts or your GED transcripts. And then for students considering transferring into Lewis Clark State College, we will definitely need any previous college or university transcripts. And then back to high school students, if you've taken any dual credits, make sure that you keep track of those and send us those college transcripts as well. CTE students, we do require your official test scores, so whether it's the ACT or SAT or an additional placement exam that we offer, just to be able to go ahead and admit you. But test scores will also allow you to be eligible for some of the merit-based scholarships that I'll talk about here in a second. Biggest thing to remember or to know is that our priority deadline is March 1st of every year. So students wanting to apply, make sure that you meet that March 1st deadline so you can be considered for the maximum amount of scholarship opportunity available. Some housing options. So here at Lewis Clark State College, we do not require students to live on campus for your first year. It is definitely an option and a very great option at that. For students considering on-campus living, we do also offer 2 different styles of dorms. We have traditional and we also have suite style. Traditional is going to be our shared bedroom spaces, and we do have 2 different halls that offer those types of dorms. And then suite style is going to include our apartment style dorms, where students can apply to have their own private bedroom or a shared bedroom space, just depending on what they're wanting to go into and what type of living situation they would like. Going into tuition and scholarships. So our tuition for non-Idaho residents is about $20,000 for the year. For Idaho residents, it's about $7,000 for the year. So we do offer the lowest cost of tuition for both in-state and out-of-state out of the public four-year colleges here in Idaho. So for students looking to come to Idaho, it can definitely be an affordable option. With our scholarships, we offer the Western Undergraduate Exchange, the Presidential Scholarship, and our Achievement Scholarship. A little breakdown about these scholarships. So the presidential and the WUI are pretty much the same scholarship. Both of them, if a student has above a 3.0 GPA, they are automatically considered by meeting our deadline, our priority deadline for these scholarships. And it will lower the cost of out-of-state tuition down to only about 150% of what Idaho tuition is. So it's definitely a really great scholarship. Both of them are really great scholarships for students to kind of consider and have hopefully some incentive to apply early. There's also another one called the Achievement Scholarships, and this is a stackable scholarship on top of the presidential or the WUI, and it is offered to students who have above a 3.0 GPA, and it is an additional $2,000 every year for students who qualify. So scholarships, there is definitely scholarships available here at Lewis Clark State College for out-of-state students. And then planning a campus tour, we are still allowing in-person visits. Students can definitely schedule a visit at any point in time on our website. During a campus tour, they will be able to meet with an enrollment specialist like myself, talk about the programs, talk about any questions about being on campus or off campus. They can tour the entire campus, they can tour the residence halls, and they can even meet with a professor or a specific division if they're wanting to get a little bit more in-depth information about each of those. I know for students wanting to go into nursing, they love touring the simulation lab, and getting a firsthand experience of what it's like to be in those classrooms. One big thing to note too is that we are planning for a near normal campus experience. I know with COVID and everything, it's kind of changed some things around, but we are planning for a near normal campus experience for this upcoming fall. And then last thing I'll talk about is just my contact information. If students have any additional questions or want to learn more about clubs or organizations or our sports teams, or even just have general college questions, you can reach out to me at any point in time. My work number is right there and my email address is on the screen. So feel free to take a picture or screenshot that if you have any questions. So we'll go ahead and share some additional information in the chat. Feel free to look into that and let us know if we can help you in the future.
Thank you so much, Rosita, for sharing Lewis and Clark State. All right, we're going on to our sixth school of this 6x6. We'll be hearing next from St. John's College.
Hello. So thank you all for being here today. My name is Dwayne Opaisa. I am Assistant Director of Admissions at St. John's College. We are based in both Annapolis, Maryland and Santa Fe, New Mexico. So we have two different campuses experiences with one unique college program. So we have one major at St. John's, and is our Great Books program. It is a Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts. So in this program, students are going to be reading original sources and primary texts. We don't have textbooks necessarily. Outside of our language classes, you're going to be reading books, and a lot of them. All of our classes are discussion-based. We have a 7-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio, and our classes rarely are above 20 students. So everything really is going to be explored through deep discussion and investigation with your peers. In our program, all students kind of take the same curriculum. So that includes 4 years of math, 3 years of science, 4 years of a language, 2 in ancient Greek, and then your latter 2 in French, 2 years of music, and then 4 years of humanities, which is where our seminar comes in. The seminar is kind of the core of this program. Through the seminar, you kind of work your way chronologically through 3,000 years of human civilization and knowledge, and study a variety of different texts in a very focused discussion or orientation around a desk or around a table. So it's a great opportunity there. We do have our 2 campuses. So the Annapolis, Maryland campus is our first campus, and it is the 3rd oldest campus in the country, having been founded in 1693. The campus itself is right on the Chesapeake on the water, and so we do have sailing opportunities. And you know, Annapolis is a big sailing city. We also do see croquet is a big event, which is played against the Naval Academy across the road. So a fun tradition that we have there. In Santa Fe, we are a little more spread out. We're not right in downtown as we are in Annapolis. In Santa Fe, we're a little outside town in the hills. We are at the south end of the Rockies, over 7,000 feet in elevation. One of the largest art markets in the world here in Santa Fe, so great artsy environment. Hiking, climbing, skiing, all sorts of different activities can be done here in Santa Fe. But as I mentioned with our program, we don't have majors. Everyone is taking the same series of courses. In your math classes, you're not going to necessarily be taking you're not going to be doing calculus or those sorts of things as like you may have done in high school. Instead, you're going to be reading kind of the foundational texts that we've built upon through our history in building knowledge. So you might be reading Newton or Darwin in your science classes and doing labs that they set out in their own texts. You might be reading Euclid in your math class and working through Euclidean geometry proofs to kind of build that understanding collaboratively. So the great thing about the St. John's experience is that you learn how to read, write, communicate effectively and persuasively, as well as really learning the benefits of collaboration and working together to find a solution and an answer. A little bit about our outcomes for students. Over 70% of our students will have a job and be employed 6 months out after graduation. This is a little graphic that shows some of the top career paths that our students go into. Education, library sciences is definitely a popular route, along with law and government. STEM fields, we do see students who go into medicine and veterinary school and things like that. A great thing about being both our campuses being in capital cities is that there's internship opportunities in politics and policy and those sorts of things. So a lot of great ways that our students have been able to get involved in a variety of different fields. A little bit about our financial aid offerings. We did reduce our tuition a few years ago to $35,000, and it has been steady since 2019. So we are holding it at that rate for the next few years. We do offer merit-based scholarship as well as need-based financial aid. For merit scholarships, there are no test scores required. We are a completely test-optional school and have been that way for 40 years. So we will look at your grades and your fit and essays and those sorts of things to use the merit determinations. For need-based aid, if you are a domestic student, we only require the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. So what are other people saying about St. John's? Forbes magazine calls St. John's the most rigorous college in America. Princeton Review ranks our professors as 5th best in the country and our classroom experience as 5th best as well. And the new US News ranks our undergraduate education 15th in the country and our students at 7th for studying the hardest. So hopefully I sparked your curiosity a bit here. If you have any other questions, you can contact me. I am based in Los Angeles and work with students in Southern California. My colleague Natalie is also here and works with students in Northern California, and we'll be sure to share some information in the chat. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for sharing St. John's today. All right, well, we've reached the end of the 6x6 portion of our event. I want to make sure that our attendees have a chance to get any of that contact information out of the chat that our representatives have been sharing, and to think if they have any last minute questions. So while we're doing that, I'd like to invite one representative from each school to come back on screen, and we're going to answer a Q&A question together live. So I'll be pulling that up in just a second. So I'd love to hear from each of you about a favorite event or a meaningful campus tradition or program, something that just gives a little extra insight into that student experience and what makes your community the unique and awesome place that it is. We're going to go in the exact same order that we presented. So we'll be starting with George Washington University. And then as the representative ahead of you finishes, feel free to just turn on your microphone and answer the question. I won't call on everyone in between. So we'll get started with GW. Andrea, thank you for kicking us off.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. So we're super lucky at GW that we're able to have these, what we call only at GW moments. Lots of traditions in our rich 200 years, but I think my favorite is sort of not a tradition, but like running into Kamala Harris at Whole Foods or going to a drag show and seeing AOC and her partner there. So know that while we do have a lot of really exciting traditions on campus, there are also kind of these fun brushes with fame that you can have as well.
For Hopkins, I think there's two. We host the largest student-run fair on a college campus in the United States called Spring Fair. That obviously looked very different and didn't look much of anything this year, but we're looking forward to seeing how that evolution takes place next year. We also do a lot with the City of Baltimore and really integrate the City of Baltimore, our home, as a part of our orientation programming. So the Community Impact Internship Program, as well as our service-oriented office, the Center for Social Concern, do an orientation-specific program so that you can get acclimated to the community, but also start doing some meaningful work right then and there.
Nick stole a little bit of what I was going to talk about, actually. One of my favorite programs is called FISOP. It's our first year student outreach project where students can actually move onto campus a week early. So you get to choose the best side of the room when you're moving in. But more importantly, you can learn about campus, you can learn about the city of Boston. And a large part of that is community building, but also being able to have to be active within the city of Boston. So that can be everything from community, traditional community service projects. A couple of years ago, it was voter registration around the city. It's working with inner city youth and with under-resourced public schools. So it's a great way to be able to learn about the city that you're entering into, to be able to just be able to give back to the city that you're going to call home, and of course have that access to campus a week early.
So a lot of the student activities are really fun. Since we have no classes on Fridays, there's always something different going on. A lot of times they'll take trips to different cities like New York City, DC, things like that. So the students really love that. And then another favorite is casino night on campus. That's always a big popular event.
And for Lewis Clark State, I would say my personal favorite is always our Welcome Back Fair, which happens during the very first week of school. And it's a great way for students who are wanting to get involved on campus and looking to join different organizations on campus, for them to kind of get a little preview of what's available. Because that Welcome Back Fair, we have every club and organization put out a table and a booth right in the middle of campus. So incoming freshmen or even current students can kind of just walk around and learn about the different organizations and sign up for the ones that they want more information about. So I think that's always been my favorite, just because I'm always learning new information as well.
At St. John's, we have so many quirky traditions on both campuses, but one of the most longstanding are two. is the annual croquet match that Dwayne mentioned. Every April, except for during COVID, we have an annual croquet match against the Naval Academy, and it is a whole region affair. And we've been doing this for over 30 years, and people tailgate and bring picnics. It's a very serious game of croquet. And we've actually held the title for the last 5 years, and everyone says it's because we study a lot of geometry, but we'll see what happens this next year. In the last tradition that is held on both campuses is that the sophomores actually throw a huge party for all the seniors during that sort of first weekend in May, and we call it reality. And so there's band and music and games, and basically the whole campus is turned into sort of a festival of sorts to celebrate the seniors, but it's always organized by the sophomores.
I love this question and just getting that little extra insight into some awesome campus events and programs. I hope for everyone who's watching, whether live or a recording, thinks, oh, I want to go try and check out social media, take a look at these events and see if you can picture yourself on campus and a part of the fun and the service and the community that each of these campuses has. Well, we have reached the end of our time together today. So first I want to thank all of our representatives who are here today for not just sharing those facts and figures and the details, logistics of the admissions process, but just your obvious passion and excitement for the student opportunities on your campus, in your community, both in and out of the classroom. I hope that for everyone who's attended, they feel more curious. They want to check out each of these schools more. This is just a small peek of what each of these schools has to offer. And these admissions representatives and all of their colleagues are your number one go-to resource. They love answering questions. They love helping you see the possibilities and to find the things on each campus that will connect with what you're looking for in your future communities. I hope you learned about a school, maybe a little more that you were already interested in, but hopefully we piqued your curiosity to check out maybe a new school that might end up being the great fit for you. Now the logistics. When you close your window, there's going to be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We would appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Again, it's just 4 questions, super fast, super easy. So thank you. We also know this is just one of many sessions that are being hosted. We hope you signed up for more. If not, there is still time to do that. And we hope that you will head to strivescan.com/SSDA to sign up for more sessions in today's programming. This presentation, as well as all of the presentations, are being recorded. They'll be available in about a week's time at that same website, strivescan.com/SSDA. So you can watch this again, share it with family and friends, and also check out presentations for other great schools. So thanks again, everyone, for taking time to be with us today, and best wishes in your college search process. Bye, everyone.